Hello everyone, myself Mrs. Anaga Singh. I am HOD of Mechanical Engineering Department at Praveen Patil College of Diploma Engineering and Technology. My subject is Industrial Engineering and Quality Control. So we will continue with chapter 1, work study. Let us see what is micro motion study. Micro motion study means the study of small motions known as thrumblings. Each human activity is supposed to be divided into these small movements. The purpose of such study is to find for a worker one best pattern of movements which involves less effort, less time, and less fatigue to complete a task. Micromotion study involves taking motion pictures of an activity by camera while being performed by an operator with timing device. Later on, film is studied by running it slowly through a projector and frame by frame analysis is carried out. Steps of micromotion study. First, filming the job being performed with a 16 mm movie camera. The range of speed is 1 to 64 frames per second. Microchronometer or a wing counter is a timing device kept in the field of view while while filming. The time can be read in wings, that is one wing is equal to 1 divided by 2000 of a minute. Analysis of the data from the film, which includes selecting a typical work cycle from among the film cycles. Film is run at a very slow speed and is usually stopped or reversed frequently to identify the motions called thrumblings. Recordings of the data is done using CMO chart. Now what are the thrumblings? Thrumblings are used to describe the basic elements of movements or fundamental hand motions of the work cycle. Frank B. Gilbreth, founder of method study, suggested these thrumblings. Every thurbling is presented by a symbol or definite color and name. It can be a letter or word. These are 18 thrumblings. They are shown in the table. Thrumblings refers primarily to the motions of human body at workplace and to mental activities associated with them. So here there are some thrumblings, their symbols, colors which are appointed for those thrumblings and meaning or definition of that symbol. First, assemble. Symbol is hatching. A, color is violet, putting objects together. Then disassemble, hatching with only one vertical line, DA, light violet, separating different parts of an assembled unit. Then avoidable delay, AD, lemon yellow, a delay with operator's control. Unavoidable delay, this symbol UD, color is yellow, a delay on which operator has no control. Transport loaded, TL, color is green, move an article from one place to the another. Transport empty, olive green, moving body or member or say hand, empty. Search, color is black, hunting for an object, plan, PN, brown color, mental reaction before action. Rest, R, orange, an allowance, idleness or a pause to overcome the fatigue incurred during the previous work. Then position, P, color is blue, turning line up, orient or change the position. Find, F, grey color, mental reaction at the end of search. Inspect, burnt orche color, examine an object for its quality. Preposition, pale blue color, locating an article in a predetermined position so that it is ready for use. Grasp, taking hold of something, use, U, purple color, manipulating or causing a tool to do its function, hold, gold or J, retention after a grasp, select, ST, light gray, choosing one object from among many, release load, carmine red, releasing an object. Critical examination. By applying a set of questions to the recorded data for a selected method, it is known as a critical examination. The object of this test is to analyze facts and information critically to provide possible alternatives for the selection and development of improved method. The critical examination has 5 W's and 1 H, that is what, why, how, when, where and who. The governing factors can be propose, place, sequence, person and means. The critical examination is achieved by means of two sets of detailed questions. First, primary questions to find out the facts and reasons behind them, and secondary questions to determine possible alternatives for place, sequence, person or means for improvement over the current method. Here there are some questions. These questions are primary questions and secondary questions. Questions for a purpose: what is done, why it is done. Secondary question: what else might be done, what should be done. Then questions related to place: where it is done, why it is done there. Secondary questions: where else might it be done, where should it be done. Questions for a sequence: when it is done, why is it done at that time, when else could it be done, when should it be done. Then question related to person: who does it, why does that person do that. Secondary question: who else could do it, who should do it. Questions means: primary questions: how is it done, why is it done that way. Secondary question: how else could it be done, how should it be done. These questions in the above sequence are asked systematically every time when method study is conducted. Principles of motion economy. There are number of principles concerning the economy of movements which have been developed as a result of experience and which form the basis for the development of improved methods at the workplace. There are 26 basic principles of motion economy. Although all these are not applied to every operation but form a basis for improving the efficiency and reducing the fatigue in manual work. The principles are grouped into the three headings: use of human body, arrangement of workplace, design of tools and equipments. First, use of human body. Both hands should start as well as complete their motions at the same time. Both hands should not be idle at the same time except during the rest period. Use both the hands simultaneously and use best motion sequence. Hand motions should be made to the lowest possible classification in order to reduce the fatigue. Smooth continuous motions of the hands are preferable than zigzag or variable motions. Ballistic free swinging movements are faster, easier and more accurate than controlled movements. Rhythm is essential to the automatic performance or repetitive operations. Work should be arranged so that eye movements are confined to a comfortable area. Hands should be free from all work that can be done by the feet. Then arrangement of workplace. All tools and materials should be placed at a definite and fixed place within easy reach. All tools, materials and actuating devices should be placed in front of the operator at a distance as near as possible. Provide gravity feed bins and use gravity conveyors to transport the material. Use gravity chutes or conveyors to drop the finished parts near to the point of assembly so that the operator does not have to use his hands to dispose of finished parts. Material handling equipments should be so arranged that to deliver the material as close to the point of the use as possible. Materials and tools should be arranged to permit the best sequence of motions. Provide adequate lighting for better visual perception. Provide proper tables, chairs, etc. whenever possible to meet good posture. The height of workplace and chair should be such that worker can sit on or stand comfortably. Keep the shop in a good condition, neat and clean. Design of tools and equipments. Use jigs, fixtures, stops, foot pedals, power operated tools as possible to reduce manual work and keep the hands free as possible. Reduce noise level definitely increase the speed of work and requires less energy. Two or more tools should be combined where possible. Tools and materials should be located in such a way that the reduce search, find and select operation. More should be maximum surface in contact between the tools, handle and hand like screwdriver, pillar, scraper, etc. Where the work is carried out by fingers, the load distribution onto each finger should be as per the normal capacity of the finger. The location of levers, crossbars and hand wheels, etc. should be so decided that operator can operate with the least change in the body position and with the best mechanical advantage. Workplace layout. Good workplace layout and productivity are closely related to each other. A comfortable workplace keeps workers more satisfied. Bad working condition always results in poor productivity. Therefore, while designing the layout, general principles of workplace layout should be taken into consideration. These are: first, materials and tools should be located within the normal working area and close and in front of the operator as possible. Here you can see operating working area. In the middle operator is there and you can see the two hands of the operator. You can see minimum working area shown by a dotted hands and maximum working area shown by dark hands. So this is the normal working area for any operator. Here there are some rules. First, materials and tools should be located within the normal working area and as close and in front of the operator as possible. Anything kept beyond the maximum wearing area or working area will make movement of trunk and increases the fatigue. Materials and tools should be located in order in which they are used in the assembly. Workplace must be clean and well painted as cleanliness affects workers' efficiency. Workplace must be properly illuminated so as to avoid eye strain. Try to minimize the intensity of noise as possible. It is possible to become reduction in the noise results in the increase of efficiency. Height of the chair and the workbench should be arranged in a way that permits comfortable work posture. From design point of view, man-machine must be considered as a single unit so that man can handle the machine with the easiness and maximum comfort. Worker should be able to operate levers and handles without changing the body position. Workplace should be free from presence of harmful elements like heat, smoke, dust, excess humidity and vibrations. Work measurement. Introduction. Work measurement is also called by the name time study. Work measurement involves assessment of a time taken to do a job, or a method work measurement technique finds the time required to do a job by a qualified operator working at a standard pace and using standard method. The time thus calculated is known as the standard time. The method to do the job is normally standardized by using method study procedure before carrying out work measurement. So let us see the definition. Work measurement is defined as the application of the techniques designed to establish the time for a qualified worker to carry out specified job at a defined level of performance. So what are the objectives of this work measurement? First, to determine the standard time for various operations. This helps in fixing the wages and incentives. Second, to estimate the cost of product accurately. Third, planning and production control. Fourth, to achieve the delivery dates by assessment of accurate time for completion of the order. Fifth, to find out how many machines an operator can run with the help of a man-machine chart. 6. To balance the work among the group of the workers with the help of a multiple activity chart. 7. To identify standard worker. 8. To train new employees. Then basic procedure for work measurement: select, record, examine, measure, compile and define. Select what to select: the work to be studied and determine the objectives of the study. Record all the information available about the job, the operator and the working condition. Break down the job into the elements. Examine the recorded data and the detailed breakdown critically to ensure that most effective method and motions are being used. Measure the time required to complete each element using the suitable work measurement technique and calculate the time required to complete the work cycle, which is known as a basic time. Compile the standard time for the operation or a work cycle. Add the suitable allowances to compensate for a fatigue, personal needs. Define precisely the series of activities and the methods of operation for which the time has been compiled, and issue the time standard for the activities and the methods specified. Steps in the time study. So here there are some steps of time study. Select the job to be timed. Obtain and record details regarding method, operator, job and working conditions. Define the elements. Break the job into the elements convenient for timing. Measure time duration for each element and assess the rating. Extend. Observe time into the normal time, that is a basic time. Determine the relaxation and personal allowances. Compute standard time for the operator for defined job or operation. Now let us see time study. What is the definition of time study? Time study is a work measurement technique for recording the times of performing a certain specific job in a certain elements carried out under a specified conditions, and for analyzing the data so as to obtain the time necessary for an operator to carry out a defined rate of performance. The time study is a technique for determining as accurately as possible from a limited number of operations the time necessary to carry out a given activity at a defined standard of performance. The following are the steps in making a time study. Find the observed time for a given task. Apply a rating factor and find the normal time. add allowance for rest, etc., and find the compiled time or a standard time. In performing a time study, industrial engineers time the effort required to perform a definite task. While it may sound simple, this is a complex process that requires special training and experience. Time study is an application of work measurement technique to establish time for a qualified worker to carry out a specified task under a specified conditions and at a defined level of performance. Uses of time study. What are the uses? Determining the schedules and planning the work. Second, determining the standard cost and as an aid in preparing budgets. Third, estimating the cost of a product before manufacturing it. Fourth, determining the machine effectiveness, the number of machines which one person can operate. Fifth, determining the time standards to be used as a basis for the payment of a wage incentive to direct labor and indirect labor. Determining the time standards to be used as a basis for labor cost control. Now let us see the procedure for conducting the time study. First step, secure and record the information about the operation and operator being studied. Second, divide the operation into the elements and record a complete description of the method. Third, observe and record the time taken by the operator. Fourth, determine the number of cycles to be timed. Fifth, rate the operator's performance. Sixth, check to make certain that a sufficient number of cycles have been timed. Determine the allowances. Determine the time standards for the operation. Then reasons for element breakdown. One of the best way to describe an operation is to break it down into a definite and measurable elements and describe much of this separately. Second, standard time value may be determined for the elements of the job. Such elements time standards make it possible to determine the total standard time for an operation. A time study may show that excessive time is being taken to perform certain elements of the job. An operator may not work at the same tempo throughout the cycle. A time study permits to separate the performance ratings to be applied to each element. Rules for element breakdown. All manual work may be divided into thrumblings which are too short in duration to be timed with a stopwatch. A number of them must be grouped together into the elements of sufficient length. The element should be as short in duration as can be accurately timed. Handling time should be separated from the machine time. Constant elements should be separated from variable elements. So, there are some time study equipments. First is a stopwatch, second is a study board, and third is a time study forms. So, here we end with a time study. Thank you.